Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from YourBlackWorld.com, and this week we saw that there is an exciting new reality show on Oxygen. It is a show that features the rapper Shawty Lo and his 10 babies mamas and his 11 children. And some of you who saw my article, you saw that I wasn't too comfortable with this type of portrayal. I was very disappointed, but I'm not going to really talk more about what I think, because I think that you should hear what Tiara Williams thinks. Tiara Williams is a contributor at YourBlackWorld.com, and also she has a tremendous amount of experience in reality television, and she actually lives out there in La La Land, where all the reality TV shows are made. So I want to say to Tiara, how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Good. Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here.
Hi, everybody.
And I appreciate you being ready to talk, on a second's notice. That's good. She's always camera ready, and you're actually the founder of Real Righteous Entertainment, right?
Mm-hmm. I am. Yes.
Yeah.
Real Righteous.
I want to ask you now: is your first show going to be just like this one, or are you going to do something a little bit better?
I'm going to do a little. It's going to be a little bit better. It's not going to be in the middle of my living room. But we will have a Real Righteous roundtable, which is a discussion of from African Americans, young like me, who are vibrant, who are in the business of entertainment, and who are not. So we're just going to talk about different insights and issues that are going on in the community.
So you're not. So when you do reality TV with Real Righteous, you're not going to go get Shawty Lo and his 10 babies mamas and do like a sequel to the Oxygen show.
No, I'm a little reluctant to do reality, period. After the things that I've seen, I think I'm good. I think there's enough reality to go around, and people have seen enough of it, and I'm just not the one. I am not the one to produce.
Well, can you help me understand, where does all this ratchetness come from? I mean, what leads the people at Oxygen to even think that something like this, is reflective in any way of decency and entertainment. This really bothered me. It wasn't that I was looking down on. I don't look down on a guy who has a lot of kids. I mean, there's something wrong with that. Mm-hmm. But 11 kids with 10 babies mamas. I mean, that is a recipe for tremendous dysfunction, psychological issues from your kids who feel neglected. It's a very bad example of fatherhood. I don't care what anybody says. 10 kids or 11 kids with 10 women, that's out of control. Now, why are they choosing to feature this? I mean, what do you think is the logic behind the producers who decided that, this is the example we want to put on television of what's going on in the Black community? What do you think?
Mm-hmm. Well, Dr. Boyce, I think that when they're looking for stories, they are looking for dysfunction. They're looking for that element of drama that can keep them going on, the seasons of drama. Or something that can spin off into something else. So you'll always have the Black girls or the Bad Girls Club. You'll always have, situations like these where they take people, not even Black people, in particular Black people, but they put them in dysfunctional situations. They're already dysfunctional, and then they put them in situations like small, contained situations that make them explode. So, it's just that they don't have any real education or any real anything, for the most part. And they put them in these situations and they make them feel like, okay, I'm doing a show. I am in Hollywood. This is amazing. And, they give them the drama that they want, so they amp it up even more. People start to get around the cameras and then they just turn into something that they never knew they could be.
Really? So that's, and then at the end of the day, you have Basketball Wives, or you have Shawty Lo's show. I think the show was called All My Babies Mamas, which I guess is parodied off of All My Children, right? Because he's got a lot of children, right? So it's like All My Children or All My Babies Mamas. And, I think that, Oxygen, you probably hit an all-time low with this. I mean, you're not accustomed to Oxygen really featuring this kind of imagery, and I don't really think that this kind of family structure is something to be celebrated. I heard somebody refer to it as ghetto polygamy, where you got a dude that has a bunch of babies with a bunch of women. And And again, it's not that the fact that he had so many kids, but it's the fact that, I think so many people, not just brothers, but people, kind of live their lives in a very reckless way. I mean, when I see 11 kids with 10 women, I'm thinking unprotected sex with a whole lot of people. Because, I mean, you have to have a lot of sex just to have one baby, right? I bet you for every baby that's born, people have sex maybe 300-400 times. There's 300-400 times where people have sex and there is no baby. And then there's that one time where there is a baby. So when I see 11 babies, I'm thinking that's a lot of sex with a lot of people and a lot of unprotected sex. And, I mean, that's an STD issue right there. That's an issue of irresponsibility. And the other thing is, and I don't care what anybody says about this. And again, I tell people, I take this personally. I don't think that anybody who raises their children in that environment really cares about their kids. Because when you have 11 kids with 10 women, unless you are as rich as Donald Trump, you really can't financially provide for all those kids. That's why these brothers keep going to jail over child support. You can't provide for them emotionally unless you are a full-time parent. I doubt Shawty Lo, with his hip-hop career, is able to really do all the rounds to all the babies' mamas and all the kids to make sure every child gets the attention they deserve from their father. So to me, it is a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for the creation of children who are not going to be able to function in this world. So I'm actually saddened by this. So, now you're a mother. Now, when you see this kind of thing happening in the community, I know that you're not just in the entertainment industry, but you're also concerned about the Black community. When you kind of see this sort of ratchetness kind of happening and being promoted and celebrated, what sort of goes through your mind as a Black woman, as a mother, as a human being?
I think about the kids, and I think about it's already bad enough, the example that's been set, it's already bad enough that the example that's been set for the children. So they're coming up in this situation and they're not learning anything but what their parents are teaching them. So again, we have another generation of ratchetness, and it's like, I just hope that at some point the buck stops and people start to be responsible for what is being what's being put on television. It's like, I know Shawty Lo is only thinking about a check, but unfortunately, he doesn't know how it's affecting our community, how this is making people in Midwest who don't see Black people all the time, how that's making them look at all of us as a whole, and how, how they experience Black people is how they experience it on television. And unfortunately, the reality shows aren't doing us any justice. So, unfortunately, I'm just really concerned for the kids and just the cycle perpetuating it just over and over and over. And, hopefully at some point, somebody stops and says, hey, we can't keep doing this to our community or ourselves.
Well, my last thought on that, Tiara, is I think at the same time, while we should certainly speak up about this kind of behavior, especially when it's being promoted. I think a lot of people, it seems, are starting to feel that, we don't all have to take responsibility for what every person does who's Black, right? Just like white people, white people in the middle class don't always take responsibility for what people are doing in the trailer parks, right? So that's that question, maybe with Black America, maybe we're dividing, maybe we're just we have people that say, okay, you know what, this is the lifestyle I want. And then other people saying, well, this is the lifestyle I want. And maybe one isn't necessarily better than the other. But I don't know. I'm almost thinking that maybe we're carrying a lot of baggage individually and collectively that, makes us feel that we have to somehow be accountable for some of the silliness that people might embrace. Personally, I'm okay with some of that baggage. I think that, everybody wants to love their kids to the best of their ability. And, if I were to talk to Shawty Lo, I would kind of, say to him, unfortunately, it's too late. If I were to talk to a young Shawty Lo, before all the babies' mamas, I would probably say to him at least a couple of things. Number one, if you really want to go broke as a Black man or as a white man or as any man, have a bunch of kids with a bunch of different women. You will stay broke. Like, for real.
Absolutely.
Number two, I would tell men like him, just because a girl's pretty and she offers you sex, that does not mean that you have to take it. There's not a law saying that you have to sleep with every hot girl that wants to get with you. You should make decisions with your body. And that's interesting to me because I've seen situations where an attractive woman would offer sex, and it's happened to me. I'm a man. I've never been married, and I've had, whatever. And it's almost like some people, even women, will think that if a woman's attractive and she offers it to you, you're supposed to say yes. And I tell guys, no, you got to think about that. I mean, do you really want Shaquanda from the strip club raising your kids? No.
Right.
It's pure hell. So before you spread your seed anywhere, you got to think about the possibility that this person could be the mother of your child. And I said it to my daughters too. Mm-hmm. Before you go on a date with a man, realize he could be the father of your children. If he's not fit to be the father of your children, you shouldn't even give him your number, period. And they think that I'm going overboard, but I let them know, look, most babies that are born are not planned. Most people don't lay down and say, let's make a baby. No. They're like, they don't pop bottles at the club, decided they want to, finish up at the after party at their house or whatever. And then next thing you know, there's Similac floating around. So my thing is, be thoughtful about this type of stuff. So that's what I would say to the young Shawty Lows. Like, I went hard on the brother, and I know a lot of people in Atlanta read the stuff that I write, and I am waiting for somebody from his camp to email me. That happens all the time, and to tell me that I was being too harsh on him. And I don't care, but at the same time, I don't want to be mean to him, but somebody has to speak up for these kids. These children are not being raised in a scenario that they're going to be as psychologically healthy as they would be if they got the attention they deserve. So I'm going to shut up now and let you get the last word, Tiara. Tell me a little bit more about your vision for Real Righteous and your vision for yourself as a member of the entertainment industry.
For sure. Okay, so going back right quick to the entertainers and rappers having a voice. At this point, I feel like there's a great responsibility. Not everyone, white people have outlets. Let's just make that clear. They have outlets. There's all types of different ranges of white people that have, they just have a voice. They have, they're doing positive things in the community. I mean, they get chances. But when we're on television and we have a chance to really affect our communities, I feel like we need to take it and do something positive with it. If Shawty Lo's going to have a show about his baby mama, how they could have spent that is, okay, I have all these kids, I've done dirt in my life, but I want to be an upstanding black man and raise my kids. Here's my journey. Just try to flip it a little bit and make it a positive. I mean, there's a lot of men running around who owe child support in our communities who could learn from this situation, but instead they've made it, an urban experience, a ghetto experience. They've made it ratchet. They've made it ghetto. They've made it, nothing that we can be proud of. So Shawty Lo is a reflection of me. All of his baby mamas are a reflection of me because they're on television and they have the opportunity to have a voice. So I'm just gonna
Interesting. Well, very good words. And I look forward to seeing what Real Righteous looks like. And, I know you're building that vision as we speak, and you're fundraising. I hope people will support you. And, and Shawty Lo, I guess, will be starting Real Ratchet Entertainment instead of, we got Righteous and Ratchet. But anyway, let me shut up.
Everybody, Dr. B, that's great.
Everybody forgive me for my corny jokes. It's after midnight here on the East Coast, so I'm a little bit sleepy. But I want to say thank you so much, Tiara, for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Absolutely. Anytime.
All right. Very cool. And you will be back. You will be back. Everybody, you can see her stuff on Your Black World and all over the place. And also, I want to say thank you all for checking us out. And until we meet again, please stay strong, be blessed, and be educated. We are gone. Peace.